All right, thanks for joining me, everyone. My name is Blair Mortimer. I work over in the PDHPE department, and I've been asked by the school's learning support teacher, Jenny Mack, to come over and deliver a quick presentation on some of my experiences in working with Tom. The sole purpose of this is the hope of providing some insight into some of our experiences so we can work collaboratively moving forward. Okay, so a little bit of a background on Tom. So obviously a highly driven student, very sporty, heavily involved in AFL and cricket, represented the school during his primary years, and has met heaps of friends from his involvement, which is a big part of his social inclusion within the school setting. Tom is a massive Melbourne Demons fan, loves to talk about them, which is a great thing to talk with him in class, around the school grounds. He really gets a lot out of that. So unfortunately, Tom suffered a stroke at age 12 when he was in grade 7. And as a result of that, he ended up with an acquired brain injury, which impaired his speech and his information processing skills. And it also resulted in right-handed paralysis, which meant he was in a wheelchair for a couple of years, but he's now progressed to using a walking frame. Some of the issues that have been identified for Tom over the last couple of years is his ability to move efficiently between classes, his inability to write, frequent absences, so he's missing content quite often, and his impaired emotions. So he tends to get very frustrated, has a lack of self-confidence. So it's a big focus on trying to build his resilience. Okay, so obviously ensuring Tom has the ability to participate on the same basis as other students requires a holistic approach. So it's our core responsibility as teachers to provide students with specific equitable access to the curriculum and ensure they can participate as fully as possible and on the same basis as everyone else. So to do this, we're just going to look at a few things that we do over in the PE department. So it's based around effective classroom communication, accessibility, and the use of school learning support officers. So looking at effective classroom communication, we've got verbal and non-verbal communication techniques here. So with Tom, it's important to explain using clear and logical steps, using direct language, controlling your pace, tone, and volume, and utilising questions as a check for understanding with Tom. So he responds quite well to that. Non-verbal, we're looking at sort of body language, facial expression, ensuring that we make eye contact, movement around the room. And one thing that we use a lot over there is demonstration of a skill. All right. Another thing that we focus on is utilizing imagery or visuals as an effective method of communication for Tom, as it allows him time to process information, which is, really beneficial for him. The second thing we're going to focus on is accessibility. So given Tom's use of a mobility aid, it's important to set our classroom up in a way that allows access and free movement within the room, both for Tom and his classmates. So simple things that we choose to do, close proximity to the entrance and exit. And we need enough space for Tom and his mobility aid, and ease of access for computers, resources, and equipment. Some PDHPE specific considerations, because considering that we're both a theoretical and practical faculty, we need to ensure accessibility and suitability of access to the oval, hall, gymnasium, and the community, and movement between these locations. Okay, and finally for this section, we're just going to look at the school learning support officer. So incorporating an SLSO aid provides Tom with the opportunity to engage and participate in both the classroom and practical setting. Okay, so theoretically, they come in and they allow for dictation, taking notes for Tom as he cannot write due to his paralysis on his right side. And it also provides the opportunity for Tom to take time to go through modified tasks and assist him with his information processing. Looking from a practical point of view, obviously moving between locations is a big thing within PDHPE, and having an SLSO there always allows assistance in the modified movement task, promoting core motor skills for Tom. All right, so specific strategies within PDHPE that we look to use. First one is assistive technology. So the use of assistive technology is an effective strategy in enabling students with disability to learn in amazing new ways. Assistive technology is any device or system that allows individuals to perform tasks they would otherwise be unable to do, or increase the ease and safety in which tasks can be performed. So examples of this can involve applications for predictive speech, speech to text or text to speech applications, and other communication tools. In Tom's case, utilizing assistive technology in the form of an interactive keyboard allows him the opportunity to take notes and develop his information processing skills. Over time, this is believed to increase his autonomy in preparation for his tertiary studies, which is his goal post-school. Studies suggest that building autonomy and being able to self-regulate and self-manage day-to-day functions develops confidence and self-determination, which is a key goal that we discussed earlier with Tom. Moving on to differentiation. So as teachers, we have an ability to differentiate content, process, product, and affect our environment. So in Tom's case, we're going to look at the classroom as well as the practical components of PDHPE to see where making adjustments can help Tom achieve his learning goals. So last term in PDHPE, the unit focused on pairing practical component of volleyball with a theoretical tournament design component. So within this, changes were made to the practical component to incorporate modified games as a means of differentiation that also coupled as a supplementary adjustment for Tom. We were able to utilize balloon volleyball and rule modifications to allow the players to bounce, players to catch, which increased participation among all students. Tom was able to achieve the tournament design component by adjusting the assessment to align with his interests of AFL. With Tom being familiar with how the final structure work in an AFL season is fixtured, he was able to prepare and present a tournament as part of a group. This required teammates to retrieve equipment and set up, but provided Tom the opportunity to deliver the tournament as well as show an understanding of the game by umpiring as well. If this isn't possible, so for example, our next unit coming up is going to be based around strength and conditioning. So a possible adjustment will be to provide Tom with a unit handbook. Again, this could be seen as a whole of class and supplementary for Tom, or solely as a substantial adjustment for Tom to ensure he can access the curriculum and achieve success. The unit handbook will be made available online using OneNote. The handbook would present a unit overview, including schedule and location of each lesson to prevent issues around accessibility and time to move around the school. It will present information in a variety of modes with links to demonstrations, task analyses of each practical exercise or test, as there is potential for Tom to miss school due to specialist appointments. This will provide a great platform for Tom to access materials remotely if required. The unit handbook also allows teachers to access and form an opportunity to utilize formative assessment as a teaching strategy through activities and questioning. Formative assessment allows students with a disability or additional learning needs to gain a lot more by being able to see and map progress as opposed to summative assessment. Further to this, having a unit handbook also provides a great opportunity to develop general capabilities of literacy and numeracy throughout the unit. So here we just have a small table of the adjustments based on the NCCD. As you can see, we've got support provided within quality differentiated teaching practices, which we mentioned was balloon, volleyball, and other game modifications. We've got supplementary adjustments made to instructional practice and assessment, as well as the activities. Then we've got substantial adjustments, including Tom, student learning support officer, his alternative interactive keyboard as an assistive technology, and the use of a unit handbook. So finally, we're going to look at collaboration and consultation. So obviously, it takes a whole of school approach to achieve the best outcomes for everyone. And to do that, we need to make sure we're on the same page. So collaboration and consultation, it's very, very important within the educative process. So firstly, we need to look at who we need to be talking to. So the family has a massive influence and has the most enduring effect on the growth and development of children across the physical, social, emotional, and intellectual domains. This shows us the importance of consulting and collaborating with families and carers as part of our practice. The DOC requires us to consult with families, and the onus is on us to initiate communication, as the voice of the family are often being ignored. So we need to ensure that we are focusing on 5 key points to effective collaboration with parents. As you can see, we need to value the expertise of parents, prioritise good quality relationships with parents, be open to working with them, build effective communication, and develop school policies and practices that support parent-teacher engagement. Okay, so from here, we go to our learning support teacher. So communication with the learning support teacher should be an ongoing process to ensure best practice within the classroom. Learning support teachers have a variety of roles within the school, such as planning and implementing programs, assessments, and practice through the development of individual education plans, through collaboration with class teachers, parents, students, and allied health professionals. This role is an integral role within the learning support team as a whole, who work collaboratively to support decision-making with influence from school executive committee, year advisors, counsellors, allied professionals, and families. So as a classroom teacher, it's our role to provide as much classroom data, observations, and accurate reporting to ensure quality practice and to provide students with the best opportunity to achieve success. So if you have any questions about anything that was presented today, you can give Jenny Mack a call or email that is all provided there. I'd just like to show you the references for this one, and I'd like to thank you for listening.